So would you say, I guess, one important reason for, talking about these stories and learning more about what's actually happened as, being a way of learning, and a way of finding ways to overcome?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have to educate the public because we have this institutionalized racism. We don't have studies, a lot of courses in elementary or junior high or senior high about our Canadian history, right? We only have one view, right? We have, the Fathers of Confederation, right? The John A. Macdonald, the building of the railroad, and then they minimize it. They said, well, we built the railroad and it made us a nation, right? But they don't totally recognize the contributions of the people that built it, or the discrimination. It's a very one-sided view of Canadian history.
So what would you say, what are some good ways for us to commemorate and to learn more about these types of things?
I would suggest as Chinese Canadians, you take the initiative and start to research Chinese history. And there's lots of books that are available about Chinese history on the internet, in libraries, but it's up to you as the Chinese community to go and rediscover your heritage. And this idea of being called the model minority. Have you heard that?
I have, yes.
Right. That is so discriminatory, right? The Chinese are model minority. Does that mean you're better than other minorities? What does that make the other minorities? The black minorities, the Muslim minorities? Are they?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Like, you're the best of the worst, right? So, research your history, learn more about the Chinese Exclusion Act. I was asked to, there was one group, private Mandarin Chinese school by mainland Chinese, and they have a Chinese school, and they asked me, would you come and talk to us about the Chinese Exclusion Act? And there were over 50 young Chinese young girls and boys there, ages from junior high to senior high, and I told them about the Chinese Exclusion Act, and their parents were there, and they had no idea about the Exclusion Act or the history of the head tax. And they're educated, they're professionals, and they had no idea of the contribution. And they said, this is what we need to know. We need to know the contributions of our culture. And
and I have to be honest, because when I was growing up in school, I never learned a lot of this either. There were bits and pieces, but never like a full story or a full presentation of everything in the background, right?
And that's because the teachers didn't know either.
Yeah, but thank you. I mean, I do appreciate you, taking the time to share about your family, in particular, their experience, and for yourself, as someone who, maybe not as a direct experience, for the Immigration Act, but then for your family, the different things that you have, gone through with your family, the different things that they might have shared with you, and the, consequential things that might have happened afterwards as well. With your own family and your own experiences here in Canada. So of course, I think that the one, takeaway for a lot of us, especially the next generation, is, take the time to truly, listen to these stories, learn about them, speak to our family about this, learn more about, our own family's history.
Exactly,
So,
yeah. And write down your family's history. Like for the Chinese, the third wave that came from Hong Kong, they should write down your family's history, the struggles they made coming from Hong Kong to Canada, right? And there was a lot of struggles for them too, right? And then maybe the ones that came from mainland China, right? And the current Canadian-born Chinese, they haven't bothered to talk to their grandparents or their parents, and it's all lost. Once they're gone, it's gone. And I was fortunate. I took an interest in talking to my grandfather, my grandmother, my uncles, and it was through them I got all these different bits and pieces and put it together, right? And a lot of the times, my father and my mother and my grandfather, they didn't talk about the discrimination, right? And once in a while they were confronted with it, but they had to bear with it. People don't remember in Lethbridge, Calgary, there were signs posted saying no Chinese allowed. Riley Park would have that by the swimming pool posted. Golf clubs would have signs posted, right? And people don't remember things like that. So what I'm trying to say is it's always there in the background, and if you don't speak up, it comes back again. And but knowing your history, knowing where you come from, and be proud of who you are. You know, this idea of the model minority being second class is such a myth, right? Be proud of who you are. Be proud you are Chinese. And just thinking about this as a moment of reflection, last week, my aunt Helen passed away at the age of 94. She's the last of the old elders, and went to the memorial service there and in Lethbridge, and it was a very lovely service, and I looked at all the relatives there, of her relatives. I mean her children and grandchildren that attended, right? And my first cousins, like myself, they were Chinese, right? But everybody else, were half Chinese, half Caucasian, right? But they were all there. But they all were Chinese, right? And they all had great things to talk about their grandma and their great grandma, and I wish more Canadians could be like that, and and they were proud of their Chinese heritage, right? And we're actually got another reunion planned in the future, where all the extended Lees are going to come together and rediscover who they are. If there is, one thing that you would even share with the next generation, with regards to, issues of racism, what would that one thing be? When you're confronted with a racist remark or you don't have to get angry, but you can take issue with it and speak up and say, let's examine that comment you made. Could you explain yourself? And throw the question back to them, and say, be willing to discuss, and then try to educate them. Right. And quite often you have to remember, racism is a learned activity, right? And it's through education and dialogue that you can change the beliefs of people and take away biases. And like I said, point out the biases that are in our society all the time. Right? Thank you so much, Ron. Okay. I really do appreciate you, taking time to share about this. And I know for yourself, there is
always a lot to share as well. And I know that, maybe in the near future that we would be, talking again, more about, these types of topics and, for your family or even, for yourself as well. Right, but thank you once again, and, definitely hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, and get involved in your Chinese community. There's lots of different Chinese communities here. Get involved in helping them, or get involved in trying to help, getting involved in Calgary's Chinatown.
Thank you.
Okay.